The topic is a profile on CWyatt-Morley3, the founder of WOMEN. She's given us some information in reference to her last 17 years of work in an intimate fashion with this disease, and some advice as to what we might be able to do in order to successfully fight this disease. And of course, let's talk about some of the things. And I think that you quite recently received a grant. Let's talk about that grant and some of the things that you will be able to do with that, and then we'll say something about the support for what you're doing.
Yes, we were very successful in receiving a Centers for Disease Control grant recently, the latter part of 2010, and it was a phenomenal success for us. We're very, very excited. We're the only ones in the state of Tennessee to receive this funding. So with that, we are truly, truly blessed. But that opens up a large array of services for us. There are three components, three major components. Of course, there's subcomponents, but there's three major components with the grant. And one of them is to bring to the community a individual level intervention. And that is a one-on-one conversation about risk reduction, about what you need to do to protect yourself. And there are things that are also provided. There's condoms and safer sex kits and information, tons of information that are provided. And those are done in an intimate environment, in an intimate setting, and they're completely confidential. People can call the office and make an appointment. They can drop in anytime, and there's always people available to do a one-on-one conversation and counseling with individuals. So that's one of the interventions that we have. But then we also have a group level intervention, which is a larger intervention, which provides to the larger community in a group type environment, where we will be bringing educational themed parties, fun, exciting ways of learning about HIV, learning how to stay safe, learning how to protect yourself, and empowerment. So the group level intervention is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun based, and we want to be able to take those into community centers, into on college campuses, and those types of things, where we can capture a larger audience, and it'll be a lot of conversation and a lot of feedback, and of course there'll be fun and food and music and games and all of that kind of thing. So we're really excited about our group level intervention as well. And then our third tier is always the HIV testing. We provide HIV testing, and we're certified through the state of Tennessee to provide HIV testing, and we'll provide those testings. We'll provide it in the group level, and we're also provided in a one-on-one setting. If somebody calls the office or comes to the office or lets us know that we want us to come to them, we'll do that. So our third tier is HIV testing. Again, as I said, it's very important that people know their HIV status. We just find that to be a critical thing. And then if someone is diagnosed HIV positive through our testing, what we do is link them immediately to care. We have a very large network that we use, so it's not that, okay, you're HIV positive and we just shoot you out the door. Absolutely not. I take time, if I'm there, because I travel a lot, but I take time with a person that is diagnosed HIV positive. We make sure that they are linked to the necessary resources. We are not an all-encompassing organization, nor are we trying to be, but we have a very large network by which we make phone calls immediately to individuals. We give individuals information immediately. When I was first diagnosed, no one gave me the initial information about what HIV was, how it affects your body, what's going to happen, what's next step. I didn't get all of that.
Basically on your own.
Exactly, exactly. And we are determined to not let that happen. So we spend a lot of time talking to individuals. So our grant that we have been truly blessed to receive will provide us with tremendous work, and we're already making new partnerships. We're expanding old partnerships, and we're very, very excited about the service that we are blessed to bring.
And so you do find that the national administration and national situation is much more accommodating to what you're doing now in reference to AIDS than it was many years ago.
Yes, absolutely. The president, you know, has signed documentation for the first time in the history of the United States that is targeting HIV. He came up with a national strategy, a national HIV strategy, which is what it is, which helps to lay the foundation for what the White House is looking to at the challenges, how how to rectify those challenges, and then also bringing that down on a community level about how the community can get engaged in eliminating and reducing rates of infection as well.
I'm reminded that for a long time this was an objection that a large number of people had when they said that the United States would require other folks that they gave money to have some kind of an AIDS strategy, but we didn't have an AIDS strategy ourselves. And so what you're now telling us is that we now have an AIDS strategy after all of these
years. We now have an HIV/AIDS national strategy by which will be our blueprint to move the agenda of HIV and AIDS forward. Because again, it's affecting all of us. You know, it's affecting blacks and whites, Hispanics and Asians and Kurdish, and you know, it doesn't care about any of that. And as you know, Nashville has one of the highest population of Hispanics and Kurdish in the state, and so it's impacting all of us. So we're very happy that this administration has moved forward with this national strategy, and within that national strategy has allowed women to be one of the ones to receive these funding to move the state, the White House's agenda forward. So we're
what
pleased.
about trials? Are we still trying to do trials in reference to this? What?
Yeah, there still are many clinical trials, and Vanderbilt University is really on the forefront of a lot of trials, and so I strongly encourage anyone to get in touch with the Vanderbilt clinical trials and the Vanderbilt vaccine unit at Vanderbilt, because they're really doing phenomenal work. So I strongly encourage that. But yes, there still are trials out there, and with those trials, those individuals living with the disease will have access to the medications for free, which will then help themselves as well as help move the clinical trials forward too. So especially women, we need to be engaged and involved in the clinical trials, because I'm sure they are always having a difficult time finding women, but women respond, of course, as you know, differently than men to most things. So getting women engaged in clinical trials is going to be a critical thing, which I strongly encourage.
Now, even though you've got this great grant and you've got a lot of money, but you still need support, let's talk about some of the kind of support that you think that our audience can give you this morning.
I appreciate that. We're always looking for board members. That is one of our critical things that we could always use. We're always looking for advisory people to sit on our advisory panel. But we're also always looking for ways by which to have fundraisers. We're looking for grant writers. We're looking for fund development individuals. We're looking for people to come on board and help us to raise additional funds, because you're right, the grant that we have is so specific and so targeted to certain things, but it doesn't help with housing, which we really, and food and those kinds of things. But you're hard pressed to get me to talk about HIV or talk about domestic violence or talk about anything else when my kids are hungry, or when I'm hungry, or when I'm homeless. So those are the things that we really need people to come alongside and help us to support the community in, individuals that are homeless. Our HIV test kits, we need funding to help to support that. We want to broaden and expand our food pantry. So we have these other services that we provide to the community that are not presently funded, that we really need to help to have financial support, so then we can actually implement those interventions that we discussed.
As a final statement, what about the church? Has the church done anything over the last 17 years that would indicate to you that they're ready to face the challenge or deal with the challenge of HIV/AIDS?
The African American church has come along slowly. The African American church has not come along progressively enough, in my opinion. I would love to see more churches, not just African American, but more churches across the board allow people to come in to have conversation about sexually transmitted diseases, about domestic violence, about substance abuse, and about those issues that are actually affecting their congregation. But I would challenge the church. I would challenge the community to give us a call, let us come in and provide services, because they're not doing enough.
Very good. And of course, we're almost at the end of the show for today, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming by and giving us the excellent information that you've given us.
Thank you.
You always do that when you come by and deal with us, but we're certainly delighted to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good night.